Hey, hello everyone. In this video I will be installing the brand new cam motor. You see it was never soldered, and I've got quite a few of these motors. I will be installing into this Akai GX-93. So far it works good, but it's already developed the noise you hear. That's what I will be trying to make it quieter, so it will work smoother. I listened to these motors; they are still not fully quiet. I connected them to this power supply here. Let's set 7 volts, 7.5. These motors are not fully quiet, but I hope they will be quieter than the originals, because in originals bearings are already worn. So you hear yourself. It's not fully quiet because of the power. It produces very good torque, these motors. So let's try and see if it's really gets anything better, because already in GX9 I had to combine from 2 motors to make one working. I also have GX-73, and motors there are not fully closes the door with the tape in it. So let's see if we can improve all these decks. Okay, here I am opening the cover. To replace this motor, we don't need to remove tape transport, so we just need to remove this screw here and these 2 back here, like that and that, like 2 screws, which holding this motor in place, and then we would be able to gently rotate the pulley and pull everything out. Right? Let me show you. I did it already in other decks, and it works pretty well. See you in a moment. Alright, I pull it motor like that. Now there is 2 screws. I remove the pulley from here and desolder, and solder new motor, assemble everything back, and that would be it. Let's compare the motors. They are identical, as you may see. Alright. Let me assemble, see you in a moment. Alright. This motor has minor differences. First of all, shaft is a little bit longer than in the original. And these 2 screws here, when I was installing, I had to tighten up because it was the holes sitting approximately 0.5 millimeter wider. So it was a very edge of the holes when I can tighten both of these screws. But this motor really works quieter, and it pulls the tape inside right away. That you see, that's the worst tape for Akai decks with pretty square corners, right? The tapes with round corners like Sony, like this, goes much better, and it now pulls the tape completely in, no hesitation, and see how quiet it is. It's way quieter than the older motor. Works really quick and pulls tapes every single time. Alright, I will upgrade my 2 other Akai decks with these new motors. What I will do now, I have to pull up the bottom board, and I want to replace 6 capacitors, which I replaced. It was old polypropylene capacitors in Akai decks. Those are aging and introduce loss of harmonics, so I replaced with Nishikon Muse. Right, I want now to remove them and install these film capacitors from WIMA. I received it recently. So let me do it and I will show you how everything will look like in a moment. Okay, and I'm continuing this assembly. I had to remove the front panel. To do it, I had to remove front feeds. You see them lying there. Now I have to remove the indicator board. All right, carefully disconnect this connector. Now we can pull this board aside. All right, now I have to remove these buttons. Okay, now I have to remove this screw and these 4 nuts from here. Then remove screws holding the bottom plate. Then remove back panel, and then I would be able to pull this board back out and replace capacitors. You see here is the green ones. I install it, and they're golden. I need to replace with WIMA capacitors to return back to the original specs. Okay, see you in a moment. Okay, finally board is released. I also have to remove the stand here, remove the DBX board, and as you see, remove back panel to have a room to pull this board back. Otherwise, these RCA connectors would not allow me. So you would say not a rocket science, I would agree, but still quite a few work for the simple things. I would prefer they get a bottom panel with a window where we can get access to replace the parts. Obviously, it was never a reason. The reliability of this deck is incredible, and I believe they've been accounting like maximum for 10 years. And now, like after 40 years, we're still using them, and it's just like wow. And that's my favorite decks. I like this tape transport most of all, most reliable, works well. Like all parts connected with metal, like so there is no plastic which can broke during shipping. The schematics is really good on Akai decks. If you will go with top Akai decks, you would never regret. All decks are top notch, but the younger the model, the better mechanical it will perform. So GX-95 probably is the most fresh one, MK2 I believe, the fresh one, or AD decks 9100. This is GX-93 is a previous model. It's AD JXZ-9000, the same. But I like the series because it has a DBX installed, so you can experiment both with Dolby, BC, and DBX, and make sure that you will select what you like. All right. Now let me replace these capacitors. I will start my desoldering iron, and let's see how it will perform now. See you soon. Hey guys, while my desoldering iron is heating up, I found that we have lots of this famous glue which gets conductive over time. So I would remove it right here, right now. Make sure that if you have GX-93 or AD JXZ-9000, you will remove glue from here. This hardening glue is like bad thing for your decks, really. We already learned it on couple GX-95 that it's not good for decks, and these decks are younger technically. Maybe that's a root cause when like you get decks and it's lost 1, 2, 3 decibel on the high frequencies. All right, take care. Okay guys, in here I'm just scrubbing it out using my tweezers with very sharp ends. Right, I was able to scrub it. It was hard, really hardened glue, but make sure that you would not bend your wires too much, because otherwise they can get broke. That was the reason glue was here. Okay, now time to recap these 6 guys. You see 2 here, 2 here, and 2 here. All right, See you in a moment. Okay guys, I installed these WIMA capacitors. I had to extend one leg due to hole positions, but if you will buy for your Akai decks, you save to go with, like, I believe 400 volts DC voltage. I use it at 100 volts. It's pretty fine, and 400 volts will be bigger, and you would be able to just put them into the holes and use them right there. All right, so now it's time to assemble, and let's see how it will perform now. See you soon. And here I'm back again. Everything was tuned. I spent some time, as you may see. I'm installed additional 68 picofarad capacitor on the right channel on the playback to adjust frequency response. So I was playing and testing with Sony tapes, with the Nakamichi tapes, and specifically when I was tuning bias, I mentioned that between left and right channel, on type 1 tape we have like one channel is higher a little bit, and like when we insert type 2, type 4 tapes, like our bias was going in reverse between left and right channel for about like 2 decibels, and that's what I didn't like. So I started to testing more, testing with the Sony tape, with the Nakamichi tape. I mentioned that right channel on playback was going lower by about 2 decibels. So that's how I'm adjusting frequency response. Then I tested and adjusted, make the all response flat with these 2 white ports. We should adjust frequency response of the playback amplifier. All right, and after I did it, I was able to tune up bias, and bias is getting like technically the same on like all tape types, and like no more those words reversing. All right, now I'm testing recording. Everything is sweet, really. Like with these capacitors, I put back the clarity. Like there is not a big difference, really. Like if you would hear, probably not every headphones, not every speaker will give you possibility to hear that difference, but it is. It's a little bit more like clear on the very highs, like above like 8, 10, 12 kilohertz, maybe 14, 15, if you can hear it. It's just makes those frequencies separate, like not being playing as a common mass on the highs. All right, now I will be assembling it and will do more testing on the speakers, comparing to the my other decks. And I'm already played the Dolby C recorded tape from the Dragon. I restored it recently and installed WIMA capacitors, and it plays really well on this deck. So like there is no like I cannot hear the difference if the Dragon or like Akai playing. Probably like Akai a little bit easier on the bass area, like because like Nakamichi decks are push bass more heavy, like specifically at 17 Hz, like plus 2-3 decibels. But all in all, it was really pleasant listening, and now I am quite happy with this deck. It's like for me it looks like ideal, because I played factory tapes with Dolby B, I played Nakamichi tapes with Dolby C. Everything plays really well. I compared frequency response with Sony. It's now full match. Nakamichi gets a little bit higher on 15 kilohertz, but that's it. All right, and it definitely cannot play the same level as Nakamichi on 18 kilohertz and 20. Unfortunately, but that's all decks. So Nakamichi really have expanded curve, like above 12 kilohertz, I believe. It gets plus 1.5 decibel at 15 kilohertz, and significantly 3-4. I mean, like I've seen 5 decibel comparing to Sony, like playing at 20 kilohertz. All right, that's how like Nakamichi really was able to make those like pretty stable recording on the highs at the levels like when other deck manufacturers were unable to achieve that stability, right? Because when we're recording on the high frequencies, I observed it's like we have intermodulation distortion when like high frequencies started to jump like up and down, like, and I even can hear this modulation in headphones, like even if I can hear like 18 or 20 kilohertz, but I can hear this modulation is like on pretty low frequency. All right. What else? I tested Dolby BC and DBX. Now it's a flat response, like so there is no coloration. The only thing like that any Dolby is still there is a very minimal, but still is a loss of high frequencies. And it's even in the source mode, you can hear it. Even DBX is much better, so there is no breathing, but still like it's not a much to Dolby off, or like noise reduction off system, right? So without noise reduction, specifically on metal tapes, I can hear better high frequencies than with any of this noise reduction system. But DBX is really nice. Like it extends dynamic range, so like you almost cannot hear the hiss. So it's really good system. I'm also get one external module, again 224X with LED indicators. I will be restoring it quite soon. I have a pipeline of decks already came or coming. So there will be a busy summer, I believe. Stay tuned and we will spend lots of good time together. See you in my next videos and bye-bye.